From out of the comic books and into the movies, the Cape Crusader opens his newest adventure in Batman, one of 4 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is the eagerly awaited Batman, and although it's far from perfect, it's the first summer spectacular that I've really enjoyed. I think that has to do with it not being a sequel, and also that there's some true originality in the film's art design, sound, and performances. As been reported, this is a darker Batman, not at all like the campy 60s TV show. Jack Nicholson stars as criminal Jack Napier, here out to rob a chemical factory with the police and Batman, Michael Keaton, in pursuit.
Jake! Let him go! Or I'll do Gordon!
Nice outfit.
Jack Napier turns into the twisted character of the Joker after Batman throws him into a vat of acid, scarring his face. Thus, natural enemies are born.
You freak. Terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Out of uniform, Batman, of course, is millionaire Bruce Wayne, who draws the attention of photographer Vicki Vale, played by Kim Basinger. She's tipsy at the end of their first date.
I feel a little drunk. And you're not anything.
Hey, one drink and I'm flying.
Why are you afraid of flying?
The 3 main players are brought together when the Joker tries to disfigure Vicki Vale with acid as part of his crime wave.
Hold on.
The film plays down Batman's paraphernalia, save for the last act, a confrontation between Batman and Joker in the street and sky above Gotham City. The Batwing plane looks like a little model there. So does the Batmobile in some shots. Director Tim Burton obviously wants to recall the original comic book look as well as tell a more adult kind of story. And that adult approach is what I found so refreshing about this Batman movie. We have so many films these days that are being made for the teenage audience. Films that look like overblown TV shows. Here's a picture with adult stars, troubled characters, and a dark look. It's a shame that that approach has to be considered a risk these days, but I'm certainly glad the approach was taken. I enjoyed this Batman.
You said you enjoyed it more than any of the other entertainment pictures this summer. I certainly didn't think it was as much fun as the Indiana Jones film.
More for me.
And
I felt I've been through that one before.
As I looked at it, The thing that struck me most of all was the art direction. Gotham City
Absolutely.
in this movie is one of the original places in the movies. I thought it was very well done. It reminded me of places like Metropolis in the movie by Fritz Lang, or the futuristic Los Angeles in the movie Blade Runner by Ridley Scott. So I thought that the art direction was sensational. I thought the special effects were good. I thought those buildings looked like they went up 1.5 miles into the sky. I thought the dark film noir look of the film was very nice, but I didn't care about anything that happened in the movie. I never really found that these characters became people that I could get involved with. I felt that Nicholson, as the Joker, went on way too long. He was on too often. He was doing the same thing over and over. I found the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale didn't work at all, Kim Basinger and Michael Keaton. In fact, when she's in the Batcave and she sees for the first time that Bruce Wayne is in fact Batman, do you remember what her reaction was? She had no reaction.
I think
they left
knew.
the reaction out of the film. They didn't even care that she was surprised.
No, she knew, and I think there are indications throughout the picture that these people know who they are in other lives, in other alter egos kind of situations.
Well, I don't.
It's very true between Batman and Jack Napier at the beginning of the film. When they give each other knowing looks, they're setting up a battle for the future.
Well, Gene, the thing, whether she knew who he was or not, is part of the suspension. In these movies, all of these movies, the superhero wears a mask that covers the top half of his face. It's like RoboCop. Well, anyone can see that it's Michael Keaton, but the whole deal in the movie is that you're not supposed to notice that until the person takes off the mask and you say, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne. So she didn't know.
That isn't the whole business of the picture. I thought that the Bruce Wayne character was a fascinating guy. Rather than playing this as a strong man, I thought it was interesting to show this guy as sort of conflicted and nervous about it, and that's why he goes into this big pose.
Well, that's a modern touch that I wasn't surprised about. I'll tell you this much about the film. It's a very, not only a dark film, which you're right about, a film noir, but also there's a great deal of hostility and anger in this film. There's a great deal of bad feeling in it, and it's not a film for children. You call it an adult film. Another way to put it is, it's not for kids. It's an extremely disturbing film.
Don't you find that? Well, wait a minute. Aren't you glad to be disturbed? And you know how I mean that.
I would have been glad to be disturbed by a film that made me care, that was able to not only use its special effects, but to encompass and surpass the special effects with a story. Because the one thing Spielberg knows in his special effects pictures is you've got to have strong characters and a strong story, or the special effects simply become something nice to look at.
I felt that I had entered a complete world, a psychological world, and a visual world. I bought it. The ending runs on too long. That I agree with you in story construction. It's that problem of the third act that a lot of action pictures have.
Well, I admire, as you know, we can agree on one thing. We admire the look of the picture. Yeah. We just don't know if we don't know if we agree on whether it works or not.
We don't agree.
We don't agree. Coming up next, the suburban scientist experiment goes wrong, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
The machine works. Do the kids know?
Well, yeah, the kids know.
The next movie is named Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and it tells the story of a suburban scientist played by Rick Moranis who invents a new machine that would be able to shrink things down to microscopic size if only he could get it to work. One day a neighborhood kid hits a baseball through the window and it bounces off the machine, it deflects the laser beam somehow, and suddenly the invention works all too well, shrinking both of Moranis' kids and two neighbor kids until they're smaller than an ant. They're almost invisible and they get thrown out with the garbage. So an ordinary backyard turns into a jungle for them, and life is terrifying when a bee takes two of the kids on a wild ride. One of the movie's best sight gags is when Moranis almost eats his own son for breakfast.
Just gotta keep our eyes open.
As you could see from those clips, the special effects in this movie are really well done. The movie essentially takes us to the same world as such films as The Incredible Shrinking Man, which came out in 1957, and so you can see that movie special effects have made a lot of progress since then. This movie demonstrates that. The blades of grass look like palm trees, there's a friendly ant that looks amazingly realistic, and so forth. Unfortunately, the movie's storytelling ability is not the equal of the special effects. For me, this is the same problem as with Batman. There's not much of a sense of fun in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Not enough silliness and wild imagination. And when they do get a good idea, like having Moranis suspend himself above the backyard to circle around looking for the kids, they let it run on so long we get tired of it. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids looks good, but it's a disappointment.
I don't even know if it looks good. For me, it came out of that old white bread environment of the old Disney live-action films, which I thought was quite boring, and I started to see it come back in this way. The people didn't seem to me to be very bright for kids. I mean, I would have thought that if they had been placed in this actual situation, that the dialogue between the kids would have been a lot sharper and smarter. For example, they're mowing the kids are now real tiny, right? They're in the grass. They're mowing the lawn. All right, now they're running away from the lawnmower. Well, once the lawnmower passes you, it would seem logical to me that you say, hey, look, the grass is cut, let's go there now, and we can walk more quickly across. There isn't that kind of interchange. Kids are that smart.
You know, you're right, Gene, and on a larger level, they don't have any master plan. Like, here we are, what can we do?
Right.
I mean,
but that's what kids would do.
Yeah, once they're in the grass, they just walk around and adventures happen to them, so that they're not trying to figure out what they can do to save themselves.
And kids in the audience for whom this film is intended, I'm not just saying this as an adult, I'm saying for kids are that sharp that they will be figuring out what they would do in that situation. This thing needed to be written with a much brighter cast of characters.
I think you're right. One more thing we ought to mention is that in its current release around the country, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is being accompanied by a color cartoon named Tummy Trouble. Now that shouldn't be news. In the old days there was always a cartoon before the feature, but that was back before greed took over and they didn't want to let you have that extra 6 minutes, you know, get you out there and sell you some more popcorn and get you in again. No, nothing that you haven't actually paid for could possibly be shown to you. Tummy Trouble is a return engagement for last summer's animated hero, Roger Rabbit, who once again is assigned to babysit for baby Herman and panics when the little toddler swallows a rattle. The trip to the hospital turns into a nightmare, but the cartoon is basically just a retread of the Roger Rabbit cartoon which opened Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's fun. I was glad to see it, but it's not worth the trip all by itself.
Well, no, I wouldn't pay a full admission to see a 7-minute cartoon, but that isn't an indictment of the cartoon as much as a physical fact that it's only 7 minutes long. I enjoyed it. I wish there were more of them. The amount of attention that we have to spend on it is dictated by the fact that it is unusual to have a single cartoon there. I loved it. I'd like to see it again. I loved when he goes racing through the hospital wings and the doors start flapping open. It just recalled what I loved about cartoons in the first place.
Gene, I just got a news release that they're going to make some new Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Right.
And Tom and Jerry are going to talk this time. Now that to me is a demonstration of complete bankruptcy.
Yeah.
The whole funny thing about these cartoons was that they were sound effects and mime.
And therefore otherworldly. So it took you into a whole other realm than normal movies.
But wouldn't it be great if they just showed a cartoon before every movie that's made for a family audience anyway? Because there are thousands of them in existence. They don't even have to go make any more. Coming up next, the Ghostbusters gang of 4 return to fight slime in New York in Ghostbusters 2.
Our next film is Ghostbusters 2, the sequel to the best-selling movie comedy of all time, and it's a major disappointment. And what's so surprising is that the film contains little comic energy or invention. It looks as if the filmmakers, particularly the writers, simply didn't try to do anything special. The 4 Ghostbusters reassemble 5 years later to destroy a river of psychoreactive slime that has invaded New York City. Here they talk to the slime.
I have seen some disgusting crud in my time, but you take the cake. You're just...
This is what you do with your spare time.
Peter, this is an incredible breakthrough. I mean, what a discovery, a psychoreactive substance. Whatever this stuff is, it responds to human emotional states.
Mood slime.
The story is virtually the same as the original, save for the introduction of a baby, the infant son of Sigourney Weaver, who Bill Murray is still pursuing. She's divorced.
Well, what do you think?
Well, he's ugly. I mean, he's not Elephant Man ugly, but he's not attractive. Was his father ugly?
Don't listen.
Murray is really forced to carry most of the movie with his wisecracks. The film really could have used more byplay between Rick Moranis and Annie Potts, two Ghostbusters assistants, babysitting and romancing.
I think motherhood's a very natural instinct. I like a child myself. And you?
Now that scene isn't much, but it's appealing because it's at least different from the original picture. The rest of this movie, save for the introduction of the baby, is virtually a carbon copy, with the Ghostbusters battling the slime as well as a 16th century demon hiding in a painting in a New York museum. The Ghostbusters seem tired of what's going on. The special effects seem all too familiar. I know it isn't true, but the movie comes across as if the guys were filming the first draft of a script.
I agree with you completely. This movie is a total disappointment. No thought went into it, no effort went into it, there's no comedy in it, and it's not just a critic sitting there in, you know, I don't believe in reviewing the audience. You and I both think that, you know, we have our own opinions, but I did go to see it in a real movie theater in Michigan with several hundred people, and they sat through the entire movie. They were there to have a good time. There was one laugh. One laugh in 2 hours.
I only laughed once. I laughed at the line about Laura Antonelli. I thought that was funny, but that's a movie related.
That's an in-joke. I mean,
sure
you and I, might know who she is, but how many Ghostbusters fans necessarily do? This movie is a complete disappointment. This is a demonstration of the bankruptcy of sequels. If you're going to make a sequel, you have to think it through. You don't just want to repeat it. You don't want to do the same thing again. And
I was very surprised because
I was shocked.
I figured, where's the effort?
Yeah.
You know you have a home run going in if you make a decent picture. How cynical to not even try.
Yeah.
When we come back, a movie named Kung Fu Master, which is not about Kung Fu, but about a very unconventional love affair.
Julien.
Our next movie is a subtle, delicate, and very complicated love story with the unlikely title of Kung Fu Master. Directed by the French filmmaker Agnès Varda, whose movie Vagabond was on both of our best 10 lists a couple of years ago. It stars her son, Matthew Demy, and tells the story of a brief and doomed but sweet and gentle love affair between a 14-year-old boy and a 40-year-old woman. As the film begins, the boy is still at the age when video games like Kung Fu Master are the most important thing in his life, and he hasn't yet started to notice girls. Then at a party at a friend's home, he notices the friend's mother singing a lullaby to her sick daughter. Somehow, this strikes him very deeply. It seems unlikely or even impossible, but these two people do fall in love with one another, at least for a time.
Lucie n'est pas là, elle est chez son père.
C'est pas pour Lucie.
Mais c'est pour nous. Pour Lou et moi.
Pour moi aussi, j'en ai pris 3.
Allez, entre. Bon, on va les manger.
But what will happen now? Aren't their feelings immoral and illegal, or are they actually pure and idealistic?
Je suis là.
The movie is based on a story by Jane Birkin, the actress in that scene, who has said that when she was a teenager, she developed a great closeness with an older man, and that this was one of the warmest experiences of her life. But how can the innocence of that feeling be translated into a movie, especially one that seems uncomfortably close to the subject of child molestation? There is no way that I can describe what a delicate line Agnès Varda draws in this film between the pure and the profane, between what is right and what is wrong. But this is a movie about the idealism of love, about the possibility of love between two completely different people. It has humor and warmth and sweetness in it and a quiet romanticism, and of course it has an unhappy ending because society forbids relationships like this. Kung Fu Master doesn't defend the relationship, it simply describes it.
Well, I like the picture because I think it's a great way of talking about how people do fall in love by looking into another corner with two characters that you wouldn't think would fall in love. And that's what's refreshing for me. I don't view it as an argument for this kind of relationship. I say the emotions are pure there, and so it's a way, rather than standard movie character, we're so used to the people who should get together being put together in a movie that this was refreshing. It opens up the whole subject of the way people react to each other. Also, it's a terrific commentary, I think, on the whole video, this whole video thing, which is where this Kung Fu Master comes from. He loves to play video games. Now he's moving into the world away from games and into the world that this woman is dragging him into, this world of human relationships.
The one thing that I think struck a chord with me in this film is the way that each person idealizes the other one by focusing on the part of the other one that they think is perfect.
Or that they need, which they need the most.
She sees this boy's enthusiasm, his innocence, his youth. He sees her caring, her warmth. He's a very lonely little boy.
His parents are out of town. He wants a mother.
What they've done here, and not only is Agnes Varda's son in the movie, but Jane Birkin's daughter is in the movie too. We ought to mention that. Two of her children are in this movie. That these women have really worked together to write and direct this film to try to take what would seem to be a completely taboo subject and handle it in a way that is actually very moving, even though to describe it is very hard.
That's because the subject isn't older-younger relationships, which is usually handled in a pretty tawdry way. It's love. Love, pure and simple. Now let's recap our reactions to the movies on this show. A split vote on Batman. We both agree that the special effects, art direction, and sound of the film are special. I enjoyed the dark approach to the adult characters too, but Roger didn't care enough about them. 2 thumbs down for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the incredible shrinking children in the backyard story. 2 more downturned thumbs, way down, for Ghostbusters 2, the sequel that doesn't even really try to be entertaining. But 2 thumbs up for Agnes Varda's Kung Fu Master, a compelling love story between an unlikely couple. And I think you're off on Batman. I think you had a better time. You know, it's a smarter movie, you felt like you were being directed, didn't you? Really?
Gene, if you're so good at telling me I had a better time and what I felt and how I thought, I don't know why it's necessary for me to be here on this show.
I've thought about that too.
Obviously, I'm wrong about my opinions, and you know exactly what I really thought. No, I'm telling you this. One of the things that movies can give us is a thing or a place or an experience we haven't had before, and I got that out of Batman.
Okay,
I love the look of Gotham City. I'm just telling you that the drama wasn't the equal of the production.
I think the look of the film is stronger, but the story is good enough. That's it for this week. Next week, a special edition, a program devoted to video discoveries, movies on home video that we've enjoyed and you may not have heard about. That means they're good and they're also on the shelf. That's next week. And until then, the balcony is closed.
Scotty Brothers Pictures proudly presents the rock and roll film of summer '89, Eddie and the Cruisers 2, the story of rock legend Eddie Wilson, opens August 18th. Raisinets and Goobers are playing everywhere, starring plump, juicy raisins and great golden peanuts. Both now feature creamy Nestle milk chocolate. Palmolive dishwashing liquid, original or lemon lime, softens hands while you do dishes. Tap-in SureCook Space Saver Microwave is perfect for kitchens where space is at a premium. Tap and Touch solid state controls and automatic temperature probe furnished by Tap-in.